Ethan's hands shook as he adjusted the small receiver. The desert around him was quiet, except for the faint hiss of his equipment. Months of searching had led him here, to the edge of a lonely canyon on a distant planet. No other humans had visited this place in decades. No cities, no settlements, nothing but endless rock and wind. Yet the signal he had followed was strong, almost alive. He squinted at the screen. The signal's pattern flickered in blue and silver. Unlike any human frequency, it pulsed with a rhythm that felt intelligent. Every beat carried a faint echo, like a heartbeat stretched across light years. Ethan's heart quickened. If this was real, if someone, or something, was out there, he was about to find them. Just one step closer, he whispered to himself. Beside him, Mira hovered silently, a soft glow emanating from her core. Ethan had built her from an old AI core salvaged from a derelict ship. She was more than a helper. She was a companion. "Ethan," Mira said, her voice calm and warm. "The signal is reaching its peak. We are close. Proceed with caution." Ethan nodded. He checked his gear one last time. The scanner, a small energy rifle, the portable life support system strapped to his back. The canyon walls rose sharply, casting long shadows in the fading light. Somewhere down there, hidden from view, the signal waited. He climbed down carefully, each step testing his balance. The rocks crumbled underfoot and the wind howled like an ancient creature. The closer he got, the stronger the pulsing grew. Blue light flickered across the canyon walls, reflected in jagged stones. He felt it in his chest. A strange warmth, almost like the planet itself recognized him. At the bottom, the canyon widened into a strange valley. The air shimmered slightly, and a silver mist hung over the ground. Ethan froze. This wasn't just a valley, it was alive with something he could not yet name. "Look at that," Ethan breathed. The mist moved in waves, almost like it had a mind of its own. Through the haze, tall structures rose, unlike anything he had seen. They were smooth, metallic, shaped like towers but oddly organic, with curves and angles that seemed impossible to engineer. Some glowed faintly with inner light, pulsing in time with the signal. Mira's lights brightened. "Ethan, the source is inside those towers. Proceed carefully. Sensors detect unknown life signatures, but they do not match any known species." Ethan swallowed. Unknown life. Could they be intelligent? Could they even be human? The thought made him uneasy. He had followed the signal across the stars, believing it to be a human distress call. But now, standing here, he wasn't sure if he was walking into rescue or danger. He took a deep breath and entered the mist. The ground beneath his boots hummed faintly. Every step made the towers pulse brighter. Ethan held his rifle loosely, though he hoped not to use it. He felt watched, though no eyes were visible. Then a voice echoed, soft, melodic, layered, as if many people were speaking in harmony. Ethan froze. "Who approaches?" the voice asked. Ethan swallowed and stepped forward. I'm human. My name is Ethan. I followed your signal." The voice didn't answer immediately. Instead, a soft blue light formed in the mist ahead, coalescing into a shape. At first, it looked like a human silhouette, but the edges flickered, unstable. Then a face emerged, not quite human, yet familiar enough to make Ethan's stomach tighten. "I have been waiting," it said. The voice was gentle but carried weight, ancient knowledge hidden behind calm tones. "You should not be here yet. I had to know," Ethan replied, though his voice trembled. "I thought maybe someone was calling for help." The figure's form stabilized. Now it stood fully visible. It was tall, slender, metallic, and faintly translucent. Lights ran across its body in patterns that mirrored the pulses Ethan had seen on his scanner. Its face was smooth, almost human, but with no eyes, only glowing ridges where eyes should be. "I am called Leora," it said. "I am what remains of the humans who came here long ago. We learned to exist beyond flesh and bone. Our minds, our signals, live in these towers." Ethan's stomach dropped. Humans transformed into signals? Was that possible? He had imagined strange alien life, but this was different. He stepped back instinctively. "Are you human?" he asked, voice barely above a whisper. "In thought, yes. In form, we have evolved," Leora said. Its voice was layered, soft, and yet somehow resonant inside his mind. "We send the signal to bring you here. You carry a key we cannot touch. Your body, your mind, still whole." Ethan raised his wristwatch. It had been modified to detect and record the signal. It hummed, recognizing the frequencies around him. The device pulsed in his hand. "This," Leora said, extending a delicate hand, "is what allows you to bridge worlds. We cannot leave this place, not fully. But you can." Ethan felt a wave of fear and wonder wash over him. "Why me?" "Because you are human," Leora replied. "You have the capacity for choice. Machines cannot decide what it means to be human. Only you can." The mist shifted again and more forms began to emerge, taller, shorter, all shimmering, their shapes both strange and familiar. Leora gestured toward them. "These are others who stayed too long in the signal. Some have forgotten themselves entirely. They drift across the stars seeking connection, unable to return to flesh. You can call them back or leave them to wander." Ethan felt a chill. To call them back meant bringing hundreds, maybe thousands of minds into bodies that might not exist yet. To leave them felt cruel. But if he tried, could he even succeed? Mira floated close, her glow steady. "Ethan," she said gently, "whatever you choose, you are not alone." He nodded, though his mind raced. The towers hummed, the signals pulsed, the mist curled around them like living fingers. Every pulse felt like a question aimed at him alone. Ethan stepped closer to the largest tower. The air shimmered, forming a doorway of light. He glanced at Leora. "What will happen if I enter?" he asked. "You will see what we have become," Leora said, "and you will understand what you must choose." Ethan took a deep breath. His hand shook, but he stepped into the tower. Inside, the world was a web of light and sound, impossibly complex, yet perfectly ordered. Threads of blue and silver stretched across the walls, connecting towers, linking minds. He felt the pulse of thousands of beings, all watching, all waiting. "Welcome," Leora whispered. "You are the first human to stand here in decades. What you do next will change everything." Ethan swallowed. I don't know if I can." "You can," Leora said softly. "Because you are human. That is enough." The tower hummed in approval. Ethan felt the weight of history, of humanity's future, pressing on his shoulders. But he also felt something else. A spark of hope, bright and unyielding. He was no longer just following a signal. He was part of it now. And whatever choice he made, he would define what it meant to be human, not just for himself, but for all who had become something else. The mist swirled around the tower, pulsing with light. The signal was alive, and so was the future. Ethan took a deep breath, lifted his wristwatch, and stepped further into the web of glowing threads. Somewhere inside, a voice echoed in unison with thousands of others. "Welcome, human. Choose wisely." The web of glowing threads stretched endlessly around Ethan, humming softly. Every pulse seemed to speak directly to him, carrying memories, knowledge, and emotions. He had stepped into the tower, leaving the safe world of rocks and mist behind, and now he stood in a place that felt both alive and eternal. Mira floated beside him, her soft light steady. "Ethan, be careful. The signals are not just sounds, they are awareness. They will respond to your thoughts and feelings." Ethan nodded, swallowing hard. He tried to focus. The threads of light seemed to move in patterns, forming shapes that reminded him of human faces. Some were smiling, others sad. Some blurred into shapes he could not recognize. He realized with a start that these were the minds Leora had mentioned, humans who had become part of the signal, existing beyond bodies. "Why are they like this?" Ethan asked, his voice trembling. "Why did they change?" Leora's voice echoed around him. Time moves differently here. When humans connect to the signal for too long, their physical forms weaken. Their minds expand beyond the body. Some forget themselves. Others retain fragments of memory. This is not death. It is evolution and loss. Ethan took a step forward. A thread of light responded, wrapping gently around his wrist. He felt warmth and a faint echo of a memory. A child's laughter, a mother's touch, a friend's encouragement. The signal was alive. It carried pieces of humanity itself. He froze. So they are still human? But not human? Yes, Leora replied. They exist between worlds now, neither fully in the flesh nor fully in the stars. And you, human, have the power to guide them back or let them remain in the signal. Ethan's chest tightened. The choice felt impossible. Could he decide the fate of thousands or more? He glanced at Mira, who hovered silently. Her soft glow was reassuring, but she offered no answers. A sudden ripple moved through the threads of light. Shapes twisted and shifted, forming faces that seemed to plead with him. Ethan felt a wave of emotion wash over him. Loneliness, hope, fear, love. The threads reached toward him like hands. They want me? Ethan whispered. They seek connection, Leora said. They do not understand themselves fully, but they remember enough to long for home. Ethan stepped deeper into the web. A soft voice, barely audible, whispered in his mind. Ethan, help us and bring us home. He stumbled back. I don't know how. You already hold the key, Leora said. Your watch carries a beacon code. It can call the signals back to safe forms, to bodies we have preserved. Ethan looked at his wrist. The device glowed faintly. He had no idea how it worked. He had followed a signal across stars, hoping to find someone, anyone, alive. Now he held the power to bring countless minds back, or leave them to drift endlessly. A thread of silver light swirled around him, forming a figure. It had the shape of a young man smiling sadly. Ethan felt a sudden pang of recognition, though he could not place the face. Do you remember me? Ethan asked. The figure nodded slowly. I remember fragments. You do not know me, but I remember Earth. Laughter. Warmth. Ethan's hands shook. I can't let you stay like this. I can't. The figure's eyes, or what passed for eyes, glimmered. We do not want to disappear. But some of us have lost the memory of flesh. Some of us fear the change. Ethan swallowed. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him. If he tried, could he succeed? Could he bring them all back? Or would he fail and leave them lost forever? Take a step forward, Ethan, Leora said gently. The choice will reveal itself. He obeyed, stepping deeper into the tower. The threads wrapped around him, carrying emotions, memories, and whispers. Each one pulled at his heart, showing glimpses of lives long gone, moments humans had shared across time. He saw birthdays, victories, losses, laughter, tears, all encoded in the signal preserved forever. It's beautiful, Ethan whispered. And terrifying. Yes, Leora said. Humanity is beautiful, and it endures in ways you cannot imagine. That is why you are here. You are the bridge between flesh and signal. A sudden vibration shook the tower. Ethan nearly lost his balance. The threads shifted violently, forming shapes that screamed silently. He realized with a jolt that not all minds had remained gentle. Some had lost themselves entirely, becoming distorted, chaotic, hungry for connection but unable to understand it. They are corrupted? Ethan asked, fear tightening his chest. Not corrupted, Leora corrected. Lost, some cannot remember themselves. They reach across space seeking connection. If you call them back, you risk bringing instability. But if you do not, they drift endlessly. Ethan closed his eyes. I can't fail them. I can't leave them like this. He opened his eyes and looked at the threads. Each one pulsed with longing. He felt their hope and fear simultaneously. Mira floated closer. Ethan, she said softly, trust yourself. You are human. That is enough. Ethan took a deep breath and lifted his wristwatch. The device glowed brighter, responding to the surrounding threads. Symbols appeared, shifting and rotating in patterns he could not read, but somehow understood. A code, alive and intelligent, waiting for him to activate it. He hesitated. What if I make a mistake? You cannot, Leora said. The signal responds to intent. You carry the will to connect. That is what matters, Ethan nodded. He pressed the first button that appeared on the device. The threads of light pulsed in response, almost as if breathing. A hum filled the tower, growing louder. The chaotic shapes paused, their distorted forms slowing. The gentle threads wrapped around him, anchoring him. Good, Leora said. Now reach further. Ethan pressed a second button. The beacon code activated fully. Light shot through the threads, spreading to the farthest corners of the tower and beyond. He felt a tug on his mind, a pull from distant points in space. The signal beings outside the planet, drifting between stars, responded. Some approached eagerly, others hesitated, unsure of their forms. Ethan felt their emotions flood him. Hope, fear, curiosity, longing. He realized with awe that he could feel them all, as if he were connected to every human who had ever been part of the signal. Steady, Mira whispered. Do not panic. Let them find you. Ethan focused, guiding the light. Slowly, the lost minds began to stabilize. Shapes that had been twisted and chaotic softened, forming familiar outlines. Faces remembered from Earth appeared in fleeting moments. Memories of friends, family, loved ones. A chorus of voices echoed in his mind, gentle and grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ethan stumbled back, overwhelmed. It's working? Yes, Leora said. You are bringing them home. Suddenly, the threads shifted violently again. Some signals resisted, afraid of returning to flesh. They twisted and swirled, forming shadows against the pulsing light. Ethan felt a pang of fear. What if he could not reach them all? Focus, Mira urged. Connect with intent. Do not let fear guide you. Ethan closed his eyes. He imagined Earth safe and alive, waiting for these minds. He imagined each one finding a home, a body, a life once more. Slowly he reached out with his intent, guiding the reluctant signals back. One by one, the chaotic threads transformed. Faces appeared, eyes blinking in wonder. Voices spoke aloud, human and clear for the first time in decades. Ethan felt tears sting his eyes. You did it, Leora said softly. You have succeeded where we could not. Humanity endures, not just in flesh but in mind and spirit. Ethan collapsed to his knees, exhausted. The hum of the tower softened, threads of light pulsing gently. Around him, the signal beings, once lost, stood in fragile, shimmering forms, learning to exist in their preserved bodies. Mira floated closer, her light warm. You have changed everything, Ethan, all of them. Have a second chance. Ethan wiped his eyes, smiling through exhaustion. We all survived somehow. Leora's figure shimmered. Humanity is never truly lost. Even in signal, even in silence, the human heart endures. You proved that. Outside the tower, the silver mist swirled peacefully. The strange valley seemed calmer, almost alive with relief. Ethan knew the journey was far from over. These humans would need guidance, support, care. But he had bridged the impossible gap. He had brought the signal back to life. For the first time in weeks, he felt hope. The future was uncertain, but for now, humanity had survived. Not as fragments, not as signals, but whole again. And Ethan had proven that being human, even with fear and doubt, could change the course of stars. Ethan sat at the edge of the valley, the soft silver mist curling around his boots. The humans he had helped return from the signal were slowly learning to exist in their preserved forms. They were fragile at first, eyes wide with wonder, hands reaching for reality after decades adrift in endless light. Yet despite the relief, Ethan could feel tension building, an echo of the challenge that lay ahead. Mira floated nearby, her glow steady. They are adapting, she said softly, but some retain fragments of signal memory. It can overwhelm them. Ethan nodded. He had seen it already. One man, a scientist with a gentle face, kept staring at the sky, muttering equations that made no sense. A young woman wandered the valley, trying to touch the towers as if they held answers. Their minds were whole again, yet divided between two worlds, signal and flesh. Leora appeared beside him, her metallic form shimmering gently. You did more than call them back, she said. You restored choice. But they must understand themselves before they can fully live again. Ethan sighed. I don't even know where to start. How do you teach people who've lived as light? You guide them, Leora replied. You show them the value of being human. And you learn from them, too. Humanity is not just in flesh, it is in thought, courage, and connection. Ethan thought about the journey that had brought him here. The signal, the endless stars, the voices calling through silence. He had followed hope across the universe and found it, even when it wasn't exactly human anymore. And now he was responsible for guiding these minds back to themselves. The valley trembled slightly. Ethan's eyes widened. The towers pulsed brighter, responding to something unseen. They sense another presence, Mira said, her light brightening. Something approaches. Ethan turned to see movement in the mist. Shadows flickered, forming shapes at the edge of the valley. The humans he had rescued froze, sensing it too. The shapes became more distinct. Tall, sleek alien forms that shimmered with energy. They moved like water, drifting closer without sound. They are not human, Ethan whispered, fear tightening his chest. No, Leora agreed. They are the echoes of signals that were lost, corrupted. They were unable to return. They are drawn to you, to your beacon. The beings approached cautiously, curiosity in their glowing forms. Ethan felt their emotions, frustration, longing, confusion. He realized with a jolt that they were attracted to the humans he had restored, as if sensing their connection to the signal. Do we fight them? Ethan asked, his hands trembling. No, Leora said. They are not hostile. But you must protect the humans. Show them the value of choice. Ethan took a deep breath and stepped forward, raising his hands to show peace. The alien forms paused, swirling around him. One drifted closer, a soft silver glow bathing Ethan's face. He felt a wave of emotion, fear, curiosity, sadness, without words. You are lost, Ethan said carefully. But you can choose. You can find your path. The being shimmered, almost imperceptibly, bowing. Then another approached, its energy flickering like a heartbeat. Ethan realized that each one was unique, carrying fragments of consciousness from signals that had drifted too far. Some of them had been human once, others were entirely different. They do not understand themselves, Leora said, but they can learn if guided. Ethan nodded. He turned to the humans around him who watched the interaction with awe and fear. You are safe, he said. These beings are not your enemies. They are echoes, lost, but they can find a path just as we have. Slowly he raised his wristwatch. The device glowed, responding to the energy in the valley. Threads of light extended from it, reaching toward the alien forms. Ethan concentrated, guiding the signal energy gently. The beings paused, sensing the human intention behind the light. Mira floated closer. Be careful, she warned. Their memories are fractured. Too much force could overwhelm them. Ethan nodded, keeping his movements slow. He focused on connection, not control. He imagined each being as it could become, whole, aware, and free. The threads of light responded, wrapping around the forms like gentle ribbons. Some beings shimmered and transformed, revealing hints of humanoid shapes beneath their energy. Others flickered, uncertain. Ethan felt their hesitation, their fear. He spoke softly, you can choose. You can find a path. You are not lost unless you believe it. Gradually, one by one, the beings responded. The fractured energy solidified, forming shapes that could exist in the valley. Some resembled humans, others retained alien features, but all carried the spark of awareness. Ethan realized with wonder that choice had given them form, just as it had given the returning humans life again. Good, Leora said, her voice echoing softly. You are teaching them humanity. They are learning to exist without losing themselves. The humans he had rescued began to approach the newly stabilized beings. At first they were cautious, unsure of how to interact. But as Ethan guided them, holding the threads of light steady, connection began to form. Hands touched, voices spoke, and laughter echoed softly through the mist. It's working, Ethan whispered, relief flooding him. They're understanding each other. Yes, Leora said. And so are you. You are learning what it truly means to be human. Compassion, courage, and the will to guide, even when the future is uncertain. Ethan watched as one of the restored humans, a young woman named Clara, reached out to a being with silver energy and alien features. Tentatively, the being mirrored her gesture. Their hands touched and a soft glow enveloped both. Clara laughed, a sound filled with wonder and joy. They're connecting, Ethan said, smiling. It's beautiful. Humanity is always beautiful, Leora said. Even when stretched beyond the stars, even when forgotten. It endures. Suddenly, the valley trembled again. Ethan's heart leapt. The towers pulsed brighter, and threads of light shot into the sky. From the mist, a new signal emerged, strong, insistent, and urgent. Ethan felt it in his chest. Someone or something was broadcasting across the stars. They are calling, Leora said. Another presence approaches. You must be ready. Ethan looked around. The humans he had guided stood together, forming a small circle. They were nervous, but trust in Ethan's leadership held them steady. The alien forms, now partially stabilized, hovered close, sensing the new energy. A shimmer of light appeared at the edge of the valley. It grew larger, forming shapes Ethan recognized. Ships, sleek and metallic, moving with precision. The signal was not just a call, it was a warning. "They are coming," Mira said. "We do not know if they are friendly." Ethan squared his shoulders. He had guided the lost humans and signals. Now he would face whatever had sent this new broadcast. "We'll meet them," he said firmly. Together. The shapes resolved into a fleet of ships hovering silently above the valley. Ethan felt their presence like a weight pressing against his mind. They were intelligent, vast, and powerful, yet not immediately hostile. The threads of light from his watch extended toward them, carrying a silent message. "We are humans. We mean no harm." One ship descended slowly, landing in the center of the valley. A hatch opened, and a being emerged, tall and shimmering with energy. Its form was unfamiliar, neither fully human nor entirely alien, but its posture conveyed awareness and intelligence. "I am called Velan," the being said, voice resonant in Ethan's mind. "We have received your signal. Humans are evolving differently than expected. Explain your presence." Ethan stepped forward, lifting his wristwatch. "I followed a signal, and I found humans trapped as energy. I brought them back, gave them a chance to exist in flesh again. They are learning to live, to remember, to choose." Velan paused, observing. The energy around it pulsed, almost like thought. "This is unprecedented. Humans guiding signals? Humans teaching awareness?" "Yes," Ethan said. "We are capable of choice. That is what makes us human. We can guide, we can care, and we can restore what is lost." Velan's energy shimmered. "Perhaps humanity's strength is more than we understood. Very well, we will observe, but your actions will shape our understanding of humans forever." Ethan nodded, relief washing over him. For now, the confrontation ended peacefully. The valley was calm, the mist gentle, and the towers pulsed softly with life. Leora appeared beside him. "You have done more than survive, Ethan. You have proven humanity can endure even across stars, even beyond flesh." Ethan smiled, though exhaustion weighed on him. "And there's still so much to do." "Indeed," Leora said. "But for now, take pride. You have guided the lost, restored choice, and shown the future that humanity matters." Ethan looked around at the humans and beings he had helped. They were fragile, curious, hopeful, and together they were stronger. He had started alone, chasing a signal across space. Now, he was at the center of a story that spanned stars, bridging past and future, flesh and light, humanity and possibility. For the first time in weeks, Ethan felt calm. The future was uncertain, yes, but full of hope, and humanity in all its forms had a chance to endure. The valley had grown quieter, but not peaceful. Ethan stood at the edge, looking toward the tallest tower, its surface pulsing with faint silver light. The humans he had restored were settling into the valley, learning to walk, to talk, to exist again. Yet Ethan felt a restlessness in the air, a tension he could not ignore. Mira floated beside him, her glow steady. "The towers are calling," she said softly. "Something is waiting inside. The signal is strongest there." Ethan swallowed. He had followed the signal across stars, rescued the lost humans, and faced unknown beings. Now the tower pulsed with a force he had never felt before, intelligent, powerful, patient. Leora appeared beside him, her metallic body shimmering gently. "This is the heart of the signal. The silent city lies within. Only there will you understand the full truth." "The silent city?" Ethan asked. "I thought the towers themselves were the source." "The towers are its guardians," Leora explained. "The city holds what was left behind, humanity transformed yet preserved. But entering it is not without risk. Not all who went before returned unchanged." Ethan took a deep breath. He glanced at the humans who had followed him this far. They looked at him with hope and trust. He felt a weight settle on his shoulders. Whatever waited inside the silent city, he had to face it, not just for himself, but for everyone. He stepped forward, Mira floating at his side. The mist swirled around them, forming patterns in the air, reflecting the pulsing light of the towers. As they moved closer, Ethan felt a strange resonance, like the city itself was aware of him, listening, testing him. The entrance to the tallest tower loomed ahead. It was a smooth, arching doorway without hinges or handles, Light shimmered across its surface, responding to their presence. Ethan raised his wristwatch. The device pulsed faintly, reacting to the energy in the doorway. "Be careful," Leora said. "Once you enter, the city will assess your mind. It will challenge your perceptions, your courage, and your humanity." Ethan nodded. He had faced fear before, but the idea of a city judging him felt different. This was more than physical danger. It was a test of everything he had become, everything he believed about being human. He stepped inside. The world shifted immediately. The mist vanished, replaced by smooth streets lined with structures of silver and blue light. The buildings were shaped like towers, like antennas, like living fingers reaching toward the sky. But the streets were empty, silent. No sound of wind, no echo of footsteps, only the hum of energy beneath the city. Ethan felt it first as a vibration in his chest, then as a voice in his mind. "You have come. Who's there?" Ethan asked aloud, his voice echoing softly. A figure appeared ahead, a tall human-like form, glowing softly yet indistinct, like a memory made real. "I am Echo," the voice said. "I am what remains of humanity's will preserved here. You are the first human to enter the city in centuries." Ethan's stomach tightened. Why? Why preserve humanity like this?" "Because humanity is more than flesh," Echo replied. "It is thought, courage, connection, and choice. The city holds what was lost, what was too precious to let fade into signal alone." Ethan stepped forward, glancing at Mira. "And what happens to us here?" "You will learn," Echo said simply. "And you will decide what the future becomes." The city pulsed again. Streets shifted subtly, forming paths that led deeper into the towers. Ethan followed, feeling the hum beneath his feet. He realized the paths were alive, responding to his presence, guiding him forward. They entered a grand hall, vast and empty, with walls covered in flowing symbols of light. The symbols moved, forming shapes, faces, patterns that told stories. Stories of humans who had arrived, who had changed, who had become signal. Ethan felt their memories brush against his mind like wind across a field. "Everything here. It remembers," Ethan whispered. "Yes," Echo said. "It remembers humanity's potential, its failures and its courage. You must navigate this memory, understand it, and choose how to use it." Ethan moved carefully, studying the symbols. Each one pulsed with emotion, fear, hope, love, loss. He realized that every human who had entered the signal left a trace, a fragment, a memory that could guide the next. Suddenly, a flash of light caught his attention. One symbol pulsed brighter than the rest, forming a shape he recognized, a human figure, familiar yet strange. Ethan stepped closer. The figure's eyes opened, glowing faintly, and a voice whispered in his mind. "Ethan." He froze. The voice was human. Real human, and yet not entirely. Who are you?" he asked. "I was one of those who stayed too long," the figure said. I became signal. I cannot leave on my own, but you can guide me." Ethan swallowed. He had faced this choice before, but here, inside the city, it felt different, closer, more urgent. I can try," he said. The figure reached out, and Ethan felt a gentle pull at his mind, an echo of loneliness and hope. He lifted his wristwatch, guiding the threads of light. Slowly, the figure stabilized, taking form beside him. A human form, fragile but real, stepping back into existence. "You did it," Echo said softly. "One by one, humanity can return. But you must be careful. The city tests all who enter." Ethan nodded. He could feel the city pulsing around him, aware, alive. The next chamber awaited, and he sensed it would be more challenging. They entered a narrow passage lined with walls that shifted like liquid metal. Symbols formed and reformed constantly, showing not just memory but potential. Ethan saw visions of humans reaching stars, building civilizations, failing, surviving. The city was teaching him, showing him the weight of humanity's choices. Suddenly, the passage darkened. Shadows flickered along the walls, forming shapes that seemed alive yet distorted. Ethan's heart pounded. "What are they?" "Echoes of fear," Leora said. "Humanity left doubt, despair, and mistakes behind. The city manifests them here. You must face them to pass." Ethan gritted his teeth. Shapes surged forward, twisting, whispering fears and regrets. He saw flashes of failure, of people lost, of choices gone wrong. The whispers pressed against his mind. He lifted his wristwatch, sending pulses of light into the shadows. Slowly they receded, not destroyed, but calmed. Ethan realized the city didn't want to harm him. It wanted him to confront humanity's past. to accept it and to guide the future with understanding. One by one, the shadows dissolved, leaving behind gentle light. Ethan exhaled, exhausted but resolute. We can do this," he said softly, glancing at the humans who had followed him. All of us together. The final chamber opened, a vast hall of light and silver energy. Symbols floated above like stars, forming constellations of human history. Echo appeared before him, radiant. "Here you will see the truth. All that was lost, all that can be saved. The city awaits your choice." Ethan stepped forward. The hum of the city filled him, carrying memories of humanity, courage, and hope. He realized that the future was in his hands, not just the humans restored from Signal, not just the lost echoes, but all of humanity that would follow. He raised his wristwatch, feeling the power of connection, of choice, of life itself. The city pulsed in response, waiting, watching. Ethan took a deep breath. "I will guide them," he said. "All of them, humanity, will endure." Echo's voice filled the hall. "Then let the city witness the strength of being human." The light surged. Threads of energy extended across the hall, connecting every being, every memory, every pulse of hope. The city shimmered, alive with understanding, learning from Ethan and teaching him in return. He realized something profound. Being human was not just survival. It was choice, courage, compassion, and connection. And for the first time, Ethan felt certain. Humanity, in all its forms, would not just survive. It would thrive. The silent city had awakened. Ethan stood at the center of the silent city, feeling its hum reverberate through every fiber of his being. The halls of silver light stretched endlessly in every direction, and threads of energy reached out like gentle arms, connecting every restored human and Signal being. The city was alive, aware, and it waited, patient, watchful, ready for him to choose the path forward. Mira floated beside him, her glow steady. "Ethan," she said softly, "everything you have done has brought humanity here. But the city's final challenge remains. You must decide how to guide the future." Ethan swallowed hard. For weeks he had followed signals, rescued humans, faced unknown beings, and confronted fears both real and imagined. Now the silent city asked for the ultimate choice, not just about survival, but about the kind of humanity that would endure. Leora appeared beside him, radiant with soft light. "You have restored humans to flesh and guided the lost signals. You have shown courage and compassion. Now you must decide. Will humanity remain connected to the stars, reaching beyond flesh, or focus on rebuilding, grounded and whole? Both paths carry risk. Both paths carry hope." Ethan closed his eyes. He thought of the humans he had rescued, the young woman who had laughed with a being of silver light, the scientists slowly remembering equations and discoveries, the children born in memory and preserved by the city. They were fragile yet full of potential. He imagined the stars, infinite and beautiful, filled with signals drifting endlessly, voices seeking connection, lost in space. Humanity could reach out and join them, exploring the unknown, risking everything but expanding its mind in ways no one could predict. He imagined Earth, or the new homes the restored humans could build, safe, grounded, real. Humanity could grow slowly, surely with wisdom and care, but the stars might remain distant, quiet, and unknown. His chest tightened. "How do I choose?" Mira's voice broke the silence. "Ethan, you do not have to choose alone. The city listens to intent.
Humanity's strength is connection.
Let your heart guide you." Ethan opened his eyes. The threads of light pulsed around him, responding to his thoughts. Faces appeared in the energy. Humans, signals, beings of light, all waiting. They did not speak, but he could feel their hopes and fears. He lifted his wristwatch, letting its glow mingle with the city's energy. Slowly, a pattern formed. 3 buttons of light, each shimmering with possibility. Reach the stars. Stay and rebuild, merge. Pathsethan's heart pounded. Each choice carried weight. Each choice defined what it meant to be human. He thought of the humans in the valley, fragile and fragilely smiling. He thought of the signals drifting across the cosmos, lonely yet curious. And then he thought of himself standing here, capable of guiding both. He realized something profound. Humanity's strength was not in limitation. It was in connection, courage, compassion, choice. He pressed the 3rd button. Merge paths. The city hummed in response. Threads of light shot outward, connecting every restored human, every signal being, every memory preserved in the towers. Ethan felt a pulse of understanding. Humanity would not have to choose between flesh and signal, between stars and home. Both could exist, guided by choice, courage, and care. The energy surged. The threads of light carried fragments of human minds across the silent city, stabilizing signal beings, giving them form, memory, and hope. Those who had been adrift for decades or centuries returned to bodies or newly constructed forms, learning to balance flesh and light. The humans in the valley reached out to them, hands touching, faces lighting with wonder. Ethan felt a soft tug on his mind. Valen's presence, observing. The alien being hovered above the city, radiant and calm. "You have done what we thought impossible," Valen said, voice resonating in Ethan's mind. "You have unified humans and signals, showing courage, wisdom, and heart. This will shape the way other civilizations view humanity." Ethan exhaled, exhausted but elated. "I didn't do it alone. The city and the humans. And Mira, everyone helped." Leora appeared beside him, her light soft. "You are human. That alone allows you to see what must be done. Connection is humanity's greatest strength. You have proven it." Ethan stepped forward, walking along streets of shimmering energy. The city responded to his presence. The towers bent slightly as if bowing. Symbols of light danced along walls, showing stories of survival, courage, hope, and discovery. Ethan realized that the silent city was not just a place. It was a mirror of humanity's potential. He approached a balcony overlooking the valley. The restored humans were gathering, learning to walk, talk, and touch the world around them. Some had begun to interact with the signals, forming bonds, sharing knowledge, laughter, and curiosity. It was not perfect, but it was alive. A soft glow approached from the sky. The fleet of ships he had encountered earlier, watching. Ethan raised his hand in greeting. The ships responded with a gentle light, acknowledging peace and cooperation. Valen's voice echoed again. "Humanity has chosen unity. We will observe and learn. But you have proven something extraordinary. You are capable of bridging worlds." Ethan smiled, a mix of relief and wonder. "We have, all of us, human, signal, city, together." Mira floated close. "The city's energy will now guide them, teaching balance and understanding. Your role will shift from guide to mentor, from traveler to leader." Ethan nodded. The thought felt heavy but right. He had faced the impossible and succeeded. Humanity endured, not as signal, not as flesh alone, but as a being capable of connection, courage, and choice. The threads of light pulsed once more, and a gentle hum filled the city. Faces of humans, signals, and energy beings looked toward him. All waited. All trusted. All hoped. Ethan took a deep breath. He lifted his wristwatch one last time. The device glowed, feeding into the city's energy. A warm wave of light spread across the towers, stabilizing every mind, calming every pulse of fear, and harmonizing humanity's potential with reality. This is what it means to be human," he whispered. "To connect, to care, to choose." The city shimmered brighter than ever. The towers, once silent and distant, now thrummed with life, pulsing in unison with the restored humans, the signals, and Ethan himself. Outside, the valley glowed softly, silver mist curling around the feet of humans and signal beings alike. And then, from the very heart of the city, a voice clear and gentle echoed, "You have proven that humanity endures, not through survival alone, but through courage, connection, and choice. The city, these towers, the stars, they are yours to guide, and you are the first of many." Ethan's chest swelled. He looked at Mira, who floated beside him, radiating pride and warmth. "We did it," he said softly. "They're safe. All of them. And they'll grow together." "Yes," Leora said. "And humanity will thrive. Not just on one world, but across many. The future is yours to shape, Ethan. And it begins now." Ethan took one final look around the silent city. It was alive, vibrant, and full of potential. Humans and signals walked side by side, exploring the valley, learning from each other, laughing and discovering. The towers pulsed with understanding. The threads of light connecting everything, teaching balance, patience, and compassion. For the first time in weeks, Ethan felt completely at peace. The weight of the stars, of signals, of lost humanity, all of it, was balanced in one simple truth: choice, courage, and connection. He smiled, lifting his wristwatch to the city's glow. The device hummed gently, now a part of the city's network. Humanity's pulse beat in unison with the silent city. The signal that had called him across the stars had not just led him to lost humans. It had led him to the very essence of what it meant to endure. Ethan turned to Mira and the restored humans. "This is our beginning," he said. "We will explore, learn, and grow. Together." The valley shimmered with silver mist, the towers glowed softly, and the city hummed with life. Humanity had survived not by chance, not by fate, but by courage, choice, and connection. And somewhere across the stars, signals pulsed with curiosity, hope, and the promise of return. Ethan knew the journey was far from over, but now humanity had a path forward. A path that would endure for generations. He took a deep breath, stepping into the heart of the city, ready to guide, ready to learn, and ready to face whatever the future held. Because humanity had proven it could endure.